Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to the Differently Mod channel. I am super glad that you guys are choosing to tune in here and to watch this video that hopefully will bring you a lot of value. And today this video is going up on Christmas Eve. Obviously Christmas is literally around the corner. It's literally tomorrow. But I also thought that it was a good time and opportunity to do a video all about journaling, because I feel like this next season of 2023, just before 2023 comes to a close, because I'm so excited for 2023 to be out the window. 2023 was really tough for me. It taught me a lot of things that I'm really grateful for, but I'm excited for 2024. 2023 can leave. She can leave the premises. I'm okay with that. But going back to what I was saying, I think that it's really important for us to have a video where I talk to you guys about journaling. And basically, if you're in the sort of mindset where you feel like journaling is important, okay, and you're like, I really want to create this practice in my life, but I don't know how to do it, and everything else has failed. I followed a lot of things people have told me to do, but it's just not working, okay? I don't know how to do it. It doesn't stick. Basically, this video is for you. It's the whole, like, when everything has failed, this is what are the core things to remember about journaling that I hopefully will be able to convey to you with clarity, and that will be useful to you. Before we dive into this, I have two things to tell you. First thing, my advent calendar is out. It's basically the penultimate day. I've been writing an advent calendar every single day on our lead up to Christmas. Impactful, powerful, insightful message that allows you to remind yourself of your own humanness, remind yourself of how normal you are, and that you're not abnormal, you're not an anomaly out of the pile of humans. We're all very, very similar. And so it reminds you of that, but it also allows you to look at your life in a very different way, in a way that you haven't probably looked at your life like that before, which I think is really, really important. And honestly, the value that I've put into this advent calendar every single day, day in, day out on our lead up to Christmas is kind of insane. And the fact that it's for free is even more insane to me. So please, please, please do not waste your opportunity, and please go read this advent calendar if you don't like reading, although I would encourage you to do something that you're not comfortable with doing and trying something new. If that's not something you want to do for now, that's completely fine. Check out my Instagram. I have reels that I've posted every single day, again, on our lead up to Christmas, with parts of the advent calendar that I've basically read out to you to have it also in spoken format. So if you want to join us on this journey in this way, that's also completely fine. The link will be in the description to see the Substack, and to have all of the bank and all of the archives and all of the messages that came before the 24th. And then if you subscribe, then you can have the email right in your inbox tomorrow for Christmas Day. And trust me, the message for Christmas Day is going to be really, really, really important and really cool. The second thing that I want to tell you guys is that I am launching something new really, really soon. So I'm going to be fully transparent and honest with you guys. I'm either going to be launching it on the 25th of December, so tomorrow, or my energy levels might not be the best, and I might not have the time or the want to spend, a lot of time working on this when I'm with my family and on holiday. So it might happen early 2024, but either way, it's going to happen very soon. And so please get excited for this. You're going to be able to see me in a whole new way, even more raw, even more authentic, even more real. I'm kind of scared, and that's why I've postponed this for years at this point, but it's going to be amazing. It's going to be great. And I literally am so excited for you guys to be part of this journey as well with me. The last thing that I want to tell you, if you're sat here watching this YouTube video and you're like, I don't want to see you. I don't want to see you move around. I don't like the way you move, and I'm getting distracted. That's completely fine, because this microphone here is telling you that this is also going to be recorded as a podcast episode. So if you want to ditch the screen and go walk around, walk your dog, go walk with your kids, do whatever you want to do, and just have me in your ears, you can do that, because it's now on all podcast platforms. Every single video up until now, or most of them, will be also on podcast format. So you can decide if you want to see my face and see me moving around and my weird expressions, or if you just are like, I don't need that. I don't need that in my life, and I actually would just rather hear your voice. That's also completely fine. So yeah, if you want to listen to this in podcast format, it's also going to be linked in the description below, so you can move in and out of the video format or the audio. But now that all of this is done, let's get into the interesting bits of this video, and let's actually talk. My notes are on my phone, by the way, and let's talk about how to journal. Think of this video as if you think that everything else has failed. You're like, I don't know how to journal. I've tried so many things, and I have a journal, and I've journaled before, but it just doesn't stick and it doesn't feel right to me. think of it as a new slate. Think of it as like, put everything you know about journaling to the side and just, hopefully allow yourself to think about it in a new way and be open to receiving maybe different advice that you haven't heard of in the past. This video is going to be structured into three different parts. First is going to be why do we journal, then when to journal, then how to journal. So why, when, how. We're not doing the 5 W's. We don't have time for that. So the first thing is, why do we journal? So you probably have a lot of reasons as to why you journal, but I think at the core, the reason for journaling, and also what is journaling at the end of the day? Journaling is taking a pen, a pencil, whatever it is, and, writing down on paper thoughts, something that is from your head, from your mind, from your brain, and putting it into paper. It's the process. It's a very, very sacred and actually very beautiful process where you're taking a thought, something that's not in the material world, something that's not in the 3D world, and you're putting it in the 3D world. So think about it as well, like that way. Reframe journaling. Journaling is not this thing that is heavy and you have to do it and you have to answer these questions every day. No. Journaling is the sacred, beautiful process where you get to take things from your head, from your mind, from your, that space, your thoughts that nobody else can see, nobody else can hear apart from yourself, and you're translating those into actual 3D format. Because if you disappear, this journal, unless it disappears with you, all of your thoughts are in there. Somebody can take it, obviously hopefully nobody's reading your personal journal, but somebody could take it and read every single thing that came from your head and onto the paper. And that's a really, really beautiful process. So it's allowing you to materialize your thoughts in the 3D world, which is a really, really beautiful process. So that's, maybe we're doing also what. So what is journaling? That is what journaling is to me. Then why we journal. What's the reason behind it? I think the reason why we journal is because we want to figure things out, Our heads, our minds, we have millions of thoughts a day. It's rushing. It's almost as if it's traffic and there's highways and there's pedestrians and cyclists, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense. But with journaling, you're able to figure things out. Again, materialize those thoughts on paper and allow yourself to make sense of them slowly but surely. And that is really, really beautiful. So the reason why we journal is to figure things out. I also wrote that it's a safe place. Journaling is a safe place to understand what you're going through freely, okay? It's allowing you to understand freely what you're going through, as well as what you want, what's blocking you, what you love. So it's a place, again, where you're figuring things out, but all different things, right? It's not just your career. It's your love life. It's your feelings. It's your relationships. It's your purpose. It's what makes you happy, what makes you sad. It's really a place where you can understand what's going through up there on your brain. And then the other thing I think that is, why we journal is because it allows us to slow down. As I said, up in your mind, it goes super, super fast. Thoughts they zoom through in and out. And that's also a reason why we meditate, to slow things down and to calm this sort of constant noise that's happening in our brains, right? But journaling also allows that. It's a state where you're allowing to slow things down and picking and choosing the thoughts that you want to materialize, or just being like, I'm going to materialize all of this brouhaha, I don't know how you call this in English, but all of this noise, and I'm going to materialize it and put it on paper, and maybe I'm going to figure out something through this. I'm going to figure things out. I'm like, oh, now I'm able to make links, okay? So slowing down allows you to understand things, why have things happened, make links that you can't necessarily do in your head. Because, again, in your head, things go by so fast, you don't have the bigger picture. You can't see how things link up. It's not in the 3D world, so it's very difficult to, link up, make sense, understand things. But when the moment it's on paper, then you can start creating links. Oh, that makes sense. That's what I thought. That's what I meant. That's what my brain was telling me when it said this, this, and that. And so sometimes you make sense of that. So I think having this sort of crystal clear understanding as to what journaling is and why we journal is really going to allow you, if you're struggling with this sort of journaling process, to really get back to basics. Why are you doing this? What's the purpose? Because again, anything you do without purpose, just because somebody told you, Pierre Paul Jacques, this is, by the way, I'm going to continue using this expression, oh my God, that sounded so French, this expression, Pierre Paul Jacques, which is a French expression that basically, Pierre Paul and Jacques are like very common names in French, like French boy names, very, very common, kind of like, I don't know, Josh, Jack, and Sam, let's say, in English. And so the expression Pierre Paul Jacques just means like, oh, any rando on the street, basically, because most randos on the street in France are called Pierre Paul Jacques. That's not entirely true, but you get me. I'm explaining that, so now you know what I mean. So don't follow what random Pierre Paul Jacques is telling you. Follow what it is that makes sense to you, and don't journal because this random guy told you, oh, journal because actually I journaled every day for 30 minutes and I've achieved my dreams. Okay, great, good for you. Maybe it's not going to work for you. And so again, use your discernment, and go back to the basics. Why are you doing this? And why, if you're adding a new practice in your life, how is this helping your purpose? How is this helping you and encouraging you and allowing you to take more steps forward towards your direction? Okay? That's the question you have to ask yourself every single time you add something into your life. How is this helping you? How is this elevating you? And if it's not, tweak it, edit it, make it your own. Don't follow some other some random person's like recipe. It's not yours. It works for them, but you're different to them, so it might not work. You might have to tweak it, okay? So again, don't take everything people tell you for gold. Make your own gold. So that's why we journal. Then the next question that we were going to talk about was when to journal. Again, I feel like I'm going to sound like a broken disc and a broken record and just repeating myself all the time, but it's important. When to journal, you have the answer to that, okay? I don't hold the answer. I hold my answer for my life, and I can tell you that I journal basically almost every day, every other day, but it's not a set in stone practice. I do it when I feel like doing it. I do it when I feel called to. I do it when I'm like, oh, I feel like I have something to figure out and something that I want to put on paper. But it's not a rigid practice in my life. That's not one of those places that holds rigidness around it. Also, I don't like when things are too rigid because it feels that they're forced and they're actually constricting. It's not a choice anymore. So when do you journal? When it feels right to you. And if you're somebody that likes routine and you're like, I want to wake up and every single day I'm going to journal 3 pages and that's my routine, good for you, and do that because that makes sense to you. But if you're somebody who's like, I just want to journal when it feels right, when it feels good, when I feel called to, then also do that. And that's still journaling. It's not because you don't do it every day that you're not journaling, okay? And also, whenever you find the practice that you enjoy, the practice that makes sense to you, you're going to realize that you're going to do it more often. Because when you like something, when something brings you joy, you want to tap into that joy more often. So you're going to tap into it. And you're going to realize, like, oh, I'm basically journaling every day. That's kind of interesting. That's kind of cool. Okay, so again, follow your own path. And when to journal, just start. Just start journaling. See what you like. Experiment with the different ways that I'm going to talk to you guys about and how you can journal, and see what works for you, see what sticks for you, and whenever you feel called to do it, do it. And then you'll realize slowly but surely that you're going to create a practice that is unique to you. With this channel, with this podcast, it's super, super important that I give you guys back your own sovereignty, okay? You are sovereign beings. You are beings that you are the CEO of your own life, okay? I don't care if you don't have a business. You are the CEO of your own life, and I want to give you your power back. Stop exteriorizing your power and putting your power in the hands of other people and asking other people to tell you what works for you. Start asking yourself what works for you and start trusting that answer. That's super, super important. Start trusting that answer, okay? Don't just trust randomly some other person's way. Listen to it, figure out what works for you, and then trust your way, because your way will be different because you're different to them, okay? I feel like I'm dropping a lot of gems in this that are not that related to journaling, but hey ho, the people that are watching this video are getting extra gems, extra goodness, so extra value, which I'm really glad for you. Then the next thing is how to journal. Honestly, the most simplistic way how to journal, you need a journal, and sometimes you don't even need a journal, just a paper, a paper and a pen or a pencil, and write. One thing that I really like, and I think that is really important, please make sure to date things. So when you look back on your life, when you look back into your journal, you can be like, oh, on the 6th of December 2023, I was dreaming of this, and now it's the 6th of December 2025, and it's been a year that I've achieved this, So you can go back and reflect, and it's really, really cute. So do date things so you can have some sort of reference and it makes sense to you, and you can go back and have a date for these things. But how are the different ways that you can journal? So there's kind of like dumping, as in like you literally have something up here and you just like write whatever's coming through. It's kind of like just a stream of consciousness, a stream of thoughts, and just write whatever's coming through. No judging. Again, when you're journaling, there's no judgment. Nobody's going to reread this. You don't even have to reread it for yourself. Again, it's a place where you're figuring things out. It's not a place for perfection. You're not writing a novel. You're figuring things out. You're making sense of things. You're making sense of your life. So when you're making sense of things, it's going to be messy, okay? You have to pull apart the little puzzle pieces before you can put them back together. So the journaling space is not meant to be pretty, okay? So if you want to think about it, the perfect journal is the most imperfect one, okay? So make it imperfect. Don't have to reread it. Just whatever's coming through, write it. So that's one way, like a sort of stream of consciousness, just writing whatever's coming through until for like however long, until you're like, okay, I feel like I've dumped most of my thoughts and now I feel freer and I can go about my day. That's one way to do it. Then the artist's way of doing it is, that's a very specific program helping you to reconnect to your creativity. And I think it's a 12-week, so 3-month program where you're basically every single day, the first thing you do is you journal 3 pages, stream of consciousness, and just write things down. It's supposed to help you reconnect to your creativity. So obviously if you're journaling for a very specific purpose, reconnecting with your creativity in that way, then you kind of have to follow the protocol, because that's the tried and tested protocol that has worked for so many thousands, if not millions of people. But if that's not what you're doing, again, just follow your own authority, follow what feels good to you. Yeah, so there's this way, just a stream of consciousness, just whatever feels good, writing it down. And oftentimes for me personally, this works a lot better. And I use this sort of journaling when I feel like it's very, very, very noisy up there and I don't even know where to start. And when I don't even know where to start, the best place to start is to just dump it all on the paper. And then after 2, 3, 4 pages, sometimes 4 pages is quite a lot, but 2 to 3 pages, I feel like, oh, okay, I've made sense of things. Things are making a lot more sense. The noise has been materialized in the real world and it's gone now. And I understand where this noise was coming from, and I understand where the overwhelm was coming from. So a lot of the times, the sort of stream of consciousness, if I'm not doing the sort of the artist's way thing, which is just to tap into creativity, a lot of the times I use it when it's just so loud up here and I need to quieten it down. The other way you can use your journal is to use prompts, so specific questions, and then answer the question. A lot of the times I think people are a little bit intimidated by journaling and they're like, oh, like, I don't know what to say, like, I have nothing to say. So it's good sometimes to start with prompts and certain questions to ask yourself. So you can ask, what are you grateful for today? What was the best moment of your day? What was a memory that sticks out to you in the last year? Or things like that. You can find prompts literally everywhere on the internet. You can just Google journaling prompts. You can also, if you open up your eyes and you're on that sort of side of Instagram, you're going to have 1,000 reels every day coming to you being like 5 journaling prompts to find your perfect partner, 5 journaling prompts to sort your money mindset, whatever it is. Like, you're going to find those prompts, and whenever you feel like you have something to say on these certain prompts, definitely use them and answer those questions. So that's a way to use journaling as well, prompts. The other way is to use it as a manifestation tool or visualization. So you can write down whenever you feel like, oh, I feel like I have a lot of dreams right now and I have a lot of things that I want to materialize in my life. One way to do this is actually to, take your journal and write down what it is that you want, and really, really specifically write it down, but also allow yourself to sink into the feeling of having those. So it's like a hybrid method of journaling with sinking into visualization and somatic work a little bit, and using your body as well and tapping into how that makes you feel, which makes the manifestations a lot of the times a lot stronger and a lot just more potent, if that makes sense. So you can use it for visualization in that way, but you can also use it in visualization to kind of figure out what it is that you actually want. So again, asking yourself questions, writing down things on the paper and being like, is this what I want? Asking yourself why you wrote this down, why this feels like something that you want to do. How would you feel when you have it? You can ask all of these questions around a specific goal and then realize if this goal is actually yours or if it's not and it's actually somebody else's. And that's actually really, really good as well to do for journaling. Could you start to see how broad journaling actually is? And even in this video, I don't even think I'm going to like tap into all of the different ways that you can journal. And I'm just here to remind you that journaling is a very, very broad, unique, and extended practice. You can make it your own, and because you can make it your own, you can make it exciting to you. And that's the most important thing. That's the most beautiful thing with journaling, is that you can tailor it to you, and when something is tailored to you, then it's just a lot better, a lot nicer, it flows. The other thing that you can use journaling for, which I think is super, super important, again, in manifestation, is one of those feelings that you really want to be able to access very easily: gratitude. When you feel grateful, you can't feel anything else. The moment you feel grateful, that's all you are. You're feeling grateful, and gratefulness is a very positive emotion attached to love, joy, contentment. And so you having a journaling practice where you spend a bit of time every day, every other day, every week, every month, whatever works for you, to really sink into gratefulness and what you were grateful for that day, that week, that month, and just really like flesh it out. Don't just be like, oh, I'm grateful that I saw my grandma. No, I'm grateful that I saw my grandma because hugging her felt really nice, and I'm so grateful that I get to have this relationship with one of my elders and to have this beautiful way of talking to her and understanding her life and realizing that we're from two different generations, but we're actually very similar as people. And even though she grew up in a completely different society than I did, then we had similar struggles, and to be able to have this beautiful relationship is so precious to me, and it's something that I will carry with me forever. Why am I getting... This feels like it was actually... I don't know, I got a little bit emotional because I think I was speaking for myself there. But yeah, stuff like, and that's what I mean when I say that, when you say things and it just makes your whole body come alive. My whole body is kind of tingling and I'm literally about to cry almost. I'm not anymore, but when I was saying it, I felt like I was overwhelmed with a grateful wave, a gratitude feeling that really took a lot of my body. It was very, very beautiful. Anyways, so gratitude. So you can just do that. Put 1, I'm grateful for this. 2, I'm grateful for this. 3, I'm grateful for this. The other thing that is also that you can do with a journaling is to figure out who you are. So you can ask questions. What are my values? And then just do a little bit of a mind map and figure out, okay, this feels like something I'm interested in. Actually, yes. And then you can like cross it out. Actually, no, it's not that. I actually meant connection, not friendship. Or I actually meant flexibility, not freedom. So you can figure things out, or you can be like, okay, what are my qualities, and just flesh things out and start to like kind of have a thought process of figuring out who you are. You can also do that with journaling. And actually the sort of mind map thing that I'm saying brings me to another thing. Again, journaling is made to work for you. And so if you're not somebody that is able to like write just in a straight line over and over and over again, and you find that boring, I'm one of those people. Don't do that. When I journal, I basically journal, let's see if there's a page that I can show you that I'll just do it here. When I like journal, I basically just, for people that are on the podcast, I'm showing the journal right now. But when I journal, I basically journal like, I don't write till the end of the sentence, because it's almost as if when it's to the end of the page, because when I'm writing fast, going to the end of the page forces me to move my wrist along the page. So I actually just write until I don't have to move the moment I have to move my wrist, I move it back. So it ends up with me, well, actually there's nothing on here that's actually not personal, so I literally will not be able to show you. But what I'm saying is like, the moment I have to move my wrist, I actually don't. I just stay where it is and I go back to the next line, which means that I actually kind of write in columns, which makes the journaling process a lot more easy, a lot more fun for me. And I've noticed that, and I've allowed myself to do this. And I'm like, well, it's my journal. I don't have to actually go to the end of the line if I don't want to, because that doesn't make sense to me. I write slower when I do that. I'd actually rather have 3 columns, and that makes more sense to me. Also, I'm a big proponent of mind maps. A lot of the times when I'm visualizing and I'm creating my dream life, I write dream life in the middle and then I write mind maps, because my brain works that way. And so I'm here to say that, like, again, journaling is meant to be for you. So find the things that make you happy, and don't tie yourself down to something that somebody else has said, or you're like, oh, my journal doesn't look like the journal I saw on TikTok. It doesn't have to, because it's not your journal. Your journal is meant to look like your journal, not the journal of somebody else on TikTok. So yeah, so did I have anything else that I wanted to particularly tell you about journaling. I think the other generic thing that I probably wanted to tell you guys is you don't have to reread what you wrote in your journal. You really don't. And I very, very rarely do. Because again, it's a place where I'm figuring things out. Once it's written down and I figured it out, I'm moving on with my life. I very rarely look back on it. The only time that I look back on it is sometimes years later. I'm like, oh, let me see which headspace I was in that time. And then going, reading it and be like, oh, like I've changed so much since then. But you don't have to look back on it. Again, just make journaling your own. And I think I'm going to leave this video there with the message that journaling is meant to be for you. Everything that you do is meant to serve you. You don't serve it, okay? Journaling is this abstract concept. Make it work for you. Be curious as to what other people are doing. Be curious as to, how other people are making it work for them. But at the end of the day, make this practice work for you. And the more you do that, the more you're going to realize that you're going to be able to be consistent and actually develop this practice that means something to you. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope that you enjoyed this video or this podcast if you're listening to it. Again, if you enjoyed it and you think that there's somebody in your life that you're like, oh, like they would really, really benefit from this, like, please share it to them. Please share it to your cousin, your friend, your family member, your partner, whoever it is. Share it with them. Share the link. I would really, really appreciate it. But if you don't want to share the link for whatever reason, although sharing the link would help me as well, because the more views I can get, the more I understand that you guys like this content and the, just whole snowball effect. But if that's not something that you want to do, honestly, that's completely fine. Please just still share what you've learned, and the ripple effect, as I say every single time at the end of these videos, is real. So please take the time to talk to the people in your life, to share what it is that you've learned, because if I can impact you, then you can impact them through what it is that you've learned. So, and that's a really, really beautiful process that I would be super grateful to be part of. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, share this video around, leave a comment, rate the podcast if you were listening to it as a podcast. And before you're going, I'm just letting you know that if you've enjoyed this video, there's probably a few other videos that you would enjoy. In particular, you would enjoy probably the reflecting video, which is a video that I've done last year. So from going to 2022 to 2023, video that allows you to ask you a bunch of questions as to what is important to you, what you've learned in 2022, what do you want to achieve in 2023. And obviously it's 2022 to 2023, but you can extrapolate that to basically any year. And if you're somebody that wants to develop a bit more prompts and understanding that, there's a bunch of prompts in there, a bunch of questions to answer. So that would be, I think, really, really cool and exciting to watch. And without further ado, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. And I'm going to also go have another video to film, and then I will have dinner. Bye, guys.